What is up, guys? Rob here with Bob Evans Classics. I got a cool car for you here today. 1994 Ford Bronco we're gonna take a look at. I'm gonna teach you guys a three-circle approach, what I do when I'm looking at classic cars. We're gonna look at the exterior, we're gonna look at the interior, and then we're gonna look at the undercarriage and mechanics. I'm gonna show you the right way to look at a classic car when you're buying one so you don't get ripped off. Guys, we are here in Jameson, PA looking at this 1994 Ford Bronco. I'm going to take you through the car, show you how I look at classics. We're going to go over the three-circle approach. Let's get started. The first thing I like to do is go in front of the vehicle. I like to get a head-on shot, kind of see what's going on in the front. Your first circle is going to be your exterior, so you're going to take your time and stuff. So we're going to go panel by panel. We're going to start with the front. So the first thing I'm noticing here, the bumper, it looks like the bumper was replaced or it was painted at some point. Our headlights, they look in rough condition. Also, the grille was painted. I don't think the original color was black. So that's my first panel. I'm looking up here, checking out the hood. Now it looks like if you see right here, if you zoom in here, we got some runs in the paint. So that's one indication that the car has been painted before. A big rust area on these cars is right over here. As you see, we got some rust going on here, starting to come through. It's not horrible, but it looks like it was repaired at some point. Okay. I also like taking a look at my tire here. Tires got good tread. But here's the thing about tires. Tires might look new, but a lot of classic cars, they sit for a while. So what you want to do, you don't want to just look how thick the tires are and how the shape. You want to take a look at the outside of the tire here. And what we're looking for dry rot. We're looking for cracks, splits in the tires that when a car sits for a long time, it'll start forming here. I don't see anything here. We got a little bit of curb rash it looks like here, but I don't see any dry rot or anything. The tires look in good condition so far. It's got a little bit of pitting. It's not a major deal with the current condition of the vehicle. If the vehicle was in great shape and it had something like this where the chrome is, got some issues with it, then I would point it out more and it would kind of detract from the value. But a car in this condition, it's not a huge deal. Got a little paintless dent removal here. It's a little ding that could probably be taken out without painting it. All right, get back to the rear quarter panel. A huge spot that rust is above the wheel wells. It's another spot, even in the front ones. I didn't see that front one yet. When we climb under it, we'll look behind it and see, but so far so good. These were probably replaced, but we'll do more investigation once we get underneath. Okay, rear of the vehicle. Bumper's been painted. It's got some scratches here. It's not in horrible shape. Again, considering the way this vehicle is, it's not in A1 shape. We're not going to really care about that. If the car was perfect and it had those flaws, then it would stand out. Something like this, we already went through it. We saw it was painted before, so we're not expecting everything to be great. The rear tail lights also are old. They probably need to be replaced if you're doing a full restoration. On a car like this, we're not going to replace all this stuff. We're going to have to buy it at a price that reflects the condition. Rust is like cancer. It spreads. If you got a little bit of rust, you need to investigate. A little bit of rust is bad. You want no rust. If it's got a little bit of rust, it probably has more. I've only come across a few cars where it's only got a little bit and that's all it has. So when you read ads and says, hey, minimal rust, well, you need to investigate. You need to look and try to find more. So this gives us an indication that we need to check the undercarriage. So far, it's got 4 good tires on it. Those are the highlights so far. It's got, decent paint. It does need to be wet sanded and buffed out to try to get that orange peel out. And a little bit of rust. Number 2, we are going to do interior. First thing we're going to do is open up the door. Let's look at the door panel. So we got this, looks like stickers on here. They look like they're from cigar labels. Somebody put that on there, which it seems pretty cool, but it's only cool to the person that put them on, right? When we resell it, we're probably going to take these off because the next person's not going to want a bunch of cigars on here. Also, I'm coming in here and I'm looking inside the door jamb. We got more rust. Remember I was telling you how rust can form and it's spread. So we got some here. Another thing I want to show you, look right here. This shows you 100% that the car has been painted before. Look at all this overspray here. You got over a red spray here. You got here around the VIN tag. They taped it off, but they got red all over the place. 100% this car has been painted before. There's no doubt about it. That's our third indication. Car's definitely been painted before. So it probably had rust. They did some repairs to it. They painted it, so it's got rust repair and paint on it. That's probably a Mako paint job, to be honest with you. First thing I like to do is look up. We got headliner missing. Headliners are expensive. They're not cheap to replace. A typical headliner costs $1,000 to $1,400 unless you do it yourself. If you go to a shop, that's what they're going to charge you. If you buy the material and do it yourself, it's a couple $100, if that. We're looking at the chair here. The chair looks decent. There's no rips in it, no tears in it. It's got a little bit of wear. If you feel the pad here, it's a little bit light. Again, a car like this, we're not really concerned about. But then we go back here. It does have no carpet at all. So it's got like a Rhino spray paint liner on it. Originally this car had carpet, but this one does not. So carpet was removed out of it. Definitely needs some TLC, okay? Okay, so now we're in the inside looking at the back. We can't get in the other way. If you look over here, yeah, it looks like the tailgate is broken. The panel's removed. Somebody removed it because they probably couldn't get it open. So that's something that does not work. It's probably going to have to be fixed. If we don't fix it, again, we have to sell it cheaper. Okay, next on our inside, we're going to start it up. We're going to check our windows. We're going to listen for noises. We're going to check the miles. Okay, it's running really rough right there on a cold start, but it's hopefully going to run a little bit better once it warms up. What I like to do sometimes, I'll shut it right off right away, and I want to start it up again just to see if it'll do the same thing. It's been sitting for a while, so maybe it just hesitated a little bit. Let's see if we fire it back up and it'll start up. It started up much better that time, which is nice. Go ahead and check the heat. Now, one of the things I like to look at, if you see the heat was already on, which means a person was probably driving it. It's been cold outside, they had the heat on. Sometimes I'll come in the cars and the air will be on, and we're in December, and the customers tell me they're driving it every day. They're probably not driving it every day if the AC's on and it's December. That's a good thing to take a look at. This has the heater on already. We're gonna put the defrosters on. We'll let it warm up a little bit. The car's still cold. We'll just leave it run just to make sure the heat works, and then we'll check the AC. This is while the heat's running. We're gonna go ahead and pop the hood. We're gonna go outside, take a look under the hood, take a look and listen to see how the engine sounds, see if we can spot any oil leaks or anything going on with the motor. The motor sounds good. I don't hear any crazy noises on it. This is a higher Bronco. It's definitely been lifted, so I'm gonna jump up here and I'm gonna look for any kind of rot up in the front frames. I'm looking for any active oil rips, and we'll climb under it, also look. I'm looking at the frame rails right here to make sure that there's no rot on them. Once we shut it off, we'll check the oil. Some people like to look at the oil before they start the car. Sometimes I do that, but I also like to start it just to see, because sometimes people will dock up the oil, and I like it running first and get that oil to go through before I check it. All right, guys, we're on our way to finish our interior inspection. Now I'd like to take a look at the mechanics of it from the inside. I'll take a look at the dashboard, make sure that there's no check engine lights, anything going on. But one thing I did notice, we got a fuel leak, it looks like. Yes, we're leaking gas. I need to shut this car off. We don't want to cause a fire, but as you can see, the car was parked here, and I didn't do my third circle, which is going to be underneath. Once we get to the third circle, as you see here, you can see the active dripping there, but around it, you see there's a puddle. You can see a little shadow here, which it shows that it was dripping. If you look right over there, we got some oil leaking. Let's climb under the car. Okay, so let's see what color it is. Okay, so it's brown, so it's not transmission fluid. We have oil leaking. It's coming from the middle of the engine between the transmission and the motor, which is usually a rear main seal leaking down onto it. It could be that. It could be a gasket. I'm unsure right now. In my professional opinion, it looks like it's a rear main seal leak from where it's coming between the engine and transmission. So we got an active oil leak, active gas leak. That's an issue. We have no heat, ABS light on. The interior's beat. This thing needs a lot. I don't know if we're going to be able to make a deal to make money on this car. It's got to be cheap. Another thing I'm looking for while I'm under here, I'm looking for rust. I like taking a pen or a key, and we're poking because we want to make sure it can pass PA inspection. Any scaling like this will pass Pennsylvania State inspection. What you don't want is rot, where you can actually stick your hand through. All this, it's got a little bit of flaking here. It's nothing major. Up here, a little bit more. A little bit here. Another thing, when I'm looking under here, I'm looking for those repairs that we saw earlier. So if you look under here, at some point the quarters were replaced. You can feel a piece of sheet metal up here. You can't really see it, but you can feel it. That they had a piece of sheet metal here, and look how flimsy this is. See this? This panel was put on. It was somebody ordered it extra and put the whole quarter on. It should not be this loose. And if you look under here, you can see there's rot under here. If you look right here, right where my hand is. Now look at this gas tank, guys. This is the holes I'm talking about. Look at this. I can stick my key right through it. Now this is not the gas tank itself, it's the shield around the gas tank, but it's still dangerous. This is a safety issue. And if you look back here, we got tons of rot up in here. Cross members rotted out. I would only be able to sell this to somebody that wants to take it off-road. I don't know if it would pass PA inspection with a back like that. It would definitely need work. Again, same issue here. Look at the rot here. Boom. And even at this point, you could probably stop your inspection because you're probably not going to make an offer on it. Or if you are going to make an offer on it, you already know what you're going to pay. What's the difference now with the way this is compared to the back? If the other side was decent, which it was okay, and that was fine, then I would come over here and take a lot of time. But because the back is rotted out like that, there's not a whole lot of time to spend on this. We can keep it moving. All right, guys, we just finished up with our third circle of our inspection approach. That was the undercarriage. Our fourth and final is going to be our test drive when we want to take it up on the road and see how it drives. Today we're not going to do that because the client isn't here. It does have tags on it, but it is unsafe to drive as well because of the gas leak. Something in this condition is not going to be worth a whole lot. I would consider it as non-drivable because you can start it up. It's the third time it barely started, but you can't drive it. Not with a gas leak. This car is not safe to drive. It's a danger to somebody. It needs to be fixed. If you fix the gas line, if you fix the oil leak, if you get it, at this point I wouldn't even do anything to the paint or anything. I would just make it mechanically sound so somebody can get it, take it in the backwoods and have fun with it. There's no classic car value in a car like this because of the condition, because it's got the lift on it, because it's got the oil leaks, because it's got issues. If this car had original paint, if it was in original condition, meaning the suspension was original, it wasn't lifted, if the interior was in great condition, then I would make him an offer to fix the mechanics based on it being a classic car, because then I could find a collector that wants this car. All right, guys, so I have a rule of thumb. It's called the best 2 out of 3. When I buy a classic car, I need 2 out of 3 things to be good on a car before I'm able to buy it. If it only has one, I stay away from it. And the reason why, and I'll explain everything to you guys, is when you get into deep projects with classic cars, you're never going to finish them. Even if you have the facility, you can finish them, but it takes so much time, so much effort. You're waiting for the body shop, you're waiting for the interior guy, you're waiting for your mechanic, and by the time you get done the car, you're not going to make a whole lot of money on it because so much time has gone by. In the 6 months it takes you to fix a car, you can buy and sell 25 other cars. So I need 2 out of 3 to be good. So you got the exterior, the interior, and the mechanics. If the exterior is good and the mechanics and interior are bad, I don't buy the car. I need the exterior and the interior good, and let's say the motor's bad, that's fine. The car looks good, inside, outside, I'll drop a motor into it, okay? Let's say the motor is good and the body's good, it drives good, but the interior is beat up. It was a smoker, the seats are all burned, or they had dogs, and that's fine. Because the car looks good on the outside, it drives good, I'll replace the interior, okay? Finally, let's say the interior is in good shape, the motor's in good shape, it runs good, it drives good, but the outside's all beat up. Let's say they lived in the city where people scratched it all up. Guess what? I'll take it down to the body shop, get it painted, and it's ready for sale. You don't want to fix a car where it has 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 3. Those are projects. You want to focus on one thing when you're buying and selling classic cars, or if you're buying a car for yourself. Unless you want a project where you're putting a ton of time and money into it, then buy it, go for it. If that floats your boat and you want to have fun with it, then do it. But if you want a good investment and you don't want to lose money, you buy a car that only has 1 out of the 3. Either it needs exterior work, interior work, and mechanical work. Well, guys, I appreciate you checking out this video. I just want to take you through my process on how I buy classic cars. I hope you liked it. Please hit the like, subscribe to our channel. We're going to come out with new content every week. We love you. We appreciate you. Later.
Thank you.